Cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Heike Peltzer. Cool. I'm Heike Peltzer, and I'm going to be presenting the work that me and Prof. Mareka did over the course of this year. So, profiling prominent ransomware threat actors. So, Master Sun says, know thyself, know thy enemies. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. In this case, we will be looking at ransomware threat actors. So, ransomware, just as a concept, classically, it is a malicious software that blocks access to a system or files until the ransom is paid. So, either it locks the system or encrypts your files, making them completely inaccessible. Attacks typically demand payment in the form of cryptocurrency, i.e. Bitcoin, so you can keep your attacker anonymous at the end of the day. The impact can vary from minor disruptions to individuals or major issues for organizations, making this quite the threat for world cybersecurity as a whole. To differentiate ransomware, which is the tool they use, from ransomware threat actors, they are the individuals or groups behind ransomware attacks. They're the ones that can do the reconnaissance, exploit your system vulnerabilities, using affiliates to exchange, and share information and the ransom. Their operations are strategic, aggressive, making them highly effective in executing attacks. So the increasing prevalence of this is, even though attack attempts are going down, they are indeed being more successful and payouts have become larger at the end of the day. So our objective of this study was to analyze ransomware threat actors and study the behavior of these individuals. Some background on this field as a whole. Ransomware is actually quite an old subject. It started in 1989 and was circulated via floppy disks. This was then circulated to AIDS research facilities by the creator, Dr. Joseph Pop. This first ransomware was called the AIDS Trojan. After 90 boots, it would encrypt your entire file system, making the system completely unusable. And to undo this, you read the ransom note and they told you, mail me the money and renew your license. So this, at the end of the day, crawled so that modern ransomware could walk and eventually run. Ransomware finally re-emerged in the year 2005 to 2009 with various versions like Archivius, Cryzip, Croton, and GP Code, starting the basis of exploiting people for money using scare tactics or encryption. Back in 2016 to 2018 is though when ransomware saw a major change in the field. Ransomware as a service is a platform where affiliates and, this allowed distributors to offer their tools to affiliates, broadening the attack's reach. So meaning anybody with a low amount of knowledge could just pick this up, and if you infiltrate it, you could deploy, and you get a cut of the money. Modern ransomware has overall become highly sophisticated and organized as a threat with several key features. Again, ransomware as a service, meaning you can rent and buy tools to help you with your limited technical skills to carry out attacks. There is a prevalence of double and triple extortion, meaning not only after they encrypt your work, they'll come back and attack you again, threatening you to, I'll leak your data, or maybe I'll DDoS your systems at the end of the day. They started doing more targeted attacks, meaning they'll focus on industries and organizations or individuals tailoring their work to take you down. The prevalence of leak sites as well has made it easy to sell data on the dark web and to any individuals, just leveraging more, leverage power to get you to pay up. And of course, as we said, crypto has been the front to keep them all anonymous. So as we said, ransomware, a malicious software blocks your victim system and they wait until you pay ransom. So how it works is that first you have to infiltrate. The attacker gains access to the victim's system through methods such as phishing emails, malicious attachments, exploiting software vulnerabilities, or remote desktop attacks. Once they're executed and once they're there, malicious activity can commence. Exfiltration is another big phase in ransomware, meaning that data is first stolen before you can encrypt the entire system. They copy and transfer sensitive information to their own personal servers that can usually be hosted on ransomware as a service providers. This creates leverage for what we said is double extortion, where attackers threaten to release the stolen data unless the ransom is paid. And finally, the encryption phase, which we all know. Ransomware encrypts files with strong encryption algorithms, making them inaccessible. A ransom note is displayed, demanding a payment in exchange for the decryption key. So what makes RAS, Ransomware as a Service, so deadly is this business model allows cyber criminals to rent ransomware tools and infrastructure from developers. So the provider maintains and offers ransomware software to affiliates for a fee or a percentage of the ransomware, which is called a split. And this includes service support such as negotiating with victims to get the biggest payout at the end of the day. This affiliate model allows you to automate the manual reconnaissance of systems. So they'll handle the infiltration, they'll get the data, and they'll deploy the tools. So you're not actually losing out if you're running this as a business. That profit sharing, the split, so after a successful attack, the split between affiliate and RAS provider makes it more lucrative for them. Yes, your affiliate takes more of the cut, but if you have 10, 20 affiliates, it's going to pay out at the end of the day. And the accessibility, lowering the bar so that any individual with a low understanding of computers can, well, take part of this, script kiddies. Overall, RAS has transformed ransomware into a more organized business-like operation with the cybercrime community, making it more accessible and widespread. So in this paper, we chose the following approach of using qualitative analysis frameworks for an in-depth exploration of ransomware threat actors. This approach is ideal for understanding the complex behaviors and characteristics of ransomware, as numerical data alone is not fully capable of capturing these dynamics. Our data sources, the limited academic work we were able to get, but most of our information came from cybersecurity reports and various case studies available on the internet. The analysis techniques we applied were, well, behavioral profiling to analyze ransomware threat actors. The method specifically was created by John DiMaggio, an analyst for, a cybersecurity analyst and researcher for Analyst One. This technique systematically outlines the characteristics, behaviors, and patterns of these threat actors. By profiling them, the paper identifies, well, key insights that can inform strategies for combating ransomware attacks. Over here, we can see the work that DiMaggio did just as an extrapolation. He gives major categories that you can use, and you build up this work, slowly but surely finding the most important aspects of each group. Here was the comparison that we built down for the three biggest ransomware threat actors in the world: Lockbit, Clop, and ALPH, better known as Black Cat. Here we can see that all three apply RAS and are criminal organizations, meaning they focused on a business approach rather than just being individuals, hacktivists, or people. This is a business to them at the end of the day, not just mere activism. So some of the major findings we had were overall decline in the number of ransomware attacks, going from 493 million to 318 million. But the amount of targets were more, well, successful. The amount of attempts went down, but the payout increased. Quarter 3 of 2023 will be known as the most successful year in ransomware, seeing 850 million being paid out in comparison to quarter 4 of 2022, which was just 400,000. So this incredible growth of RAS, ransomware as a service, is becoming more prevalent among cyber criminals. This model enables individuals, once again with limited technical skills, to just rent ransomware tools to their tailored abilities. The rise of RAS has contributed to more ransomware attacks, as it lowers the barrier to enter Also, another prevalent aspect from my research is that there is a major lack of standardization within this field. Academics and industry professionals do not share concepts. There's a lack of standardization. The wheel is constantly being reinvented, and many terms are, well, used interchangeably to describe the same concepts. This implies a need for standardization in ransomware threat actor profiling, which will be essential for improving cybersecurity. Current fragmented data and lack of standardization and a standardized taxonomy hinder understanding and comparing these threat actors' behaviors. Collaboration between academic researchers and industry professionals can aid in a unified data set, bringing the gap between theory and practice to a close. As a whole, the behavioral profiling deepens insights into the motives, tactics, and patterns of ransomware threat actors. Organizations can then anticipate threat actors and tailor their defenses by understanding the psychological and strategic factors driving these attacks. Profiling overall helps identify specific traits and behaviors, leading to targeted prevention response strategies. Understanding how to negotiate with these individuals also aids in mitigating the aftermath at the end of the day. However, there are major challenges, as said. The lack of standardization and scarcity of academic research further just widens the gap between research and practice. Unstandardized nature of results in fragmented data and inconsistent methodologies makes it difficult to develop comprehensive profiles. And the limited academic resources focus more on the technical aspects of ransomware rather than who orchestrated it in the background. So overcoming these challenges is crucial for enhancing the understanding of ransomware threats and improving cybersecurity strategies. We recommend, firstly, a standardized taxonomy to establish a consistent classification system for ransomware threat actors. This would improve communication and collaboration between researchers and practitioners. Comprehensive behavioral profiles will allow for developing detailed profiles of ransomware actors, which can allow us to understand the motives, tactics, and their operational patterns. This in turn deepens the insights to tailor defenses once again, and extending the use cases for our profiling to cover pre-attack, during attack, and post-attack scenarios. We also wish to focus on a framework for utilizing these behavioral profiles, as a structured framework is needed to guide organizations in applying these insights to enhance cybersecurity. This would in turn help organizations create more informed and resilient strategies to combat ransomware threats. In turn, we also wish to foster ethical profiling practices to ensure that ransomware profiling is done ethically, focusing solely on behaviors and tactics rather than personal characteristics. This approach ensures fairness and overall enhances the credibility of the profiling process. Lastly, we wish to foster collaboration between researchers and industry practitioners. Collaboration is key to sharing knowledge, resources, and data. By working together, academic researchers and industry professionals can bridge the gap between theory and practice, resulting in more effective, comprehensive profiles. This collaboration strengthens the overall cybersecurity landscape and against ransomware threat actors. Thus, in conclusion, ransomware is becoming a critical concern in cybersecurity, with attacks growing more sophisticated and targeted. These attacks cause disruptions in operations and compromise sensitive data, making them a significant threat. Profiling, in turn, can help organizations understand the behaviors, motivations, and tactics of ransomware threat actors. This understanding enables organizations to enhance their defensive strategies and improve responses to attacks. Again, major challenges due to the lack of standardization And these issues will in turn just hinder the effectiveness of profiling and limit the ability to create comprehensive threat actor profiles. So to address these challenges, collaboration between researchers, industry professionals, and practitioners are essential. This collaboration helps foster a shared understanding of ransomware threats and coordinated approach to combating them. The future direction of this research will focus on creating a comprehensive taxonomy to categorize ransomware threat actors systematically, which will in turn improve profiling accuracy. Following this, we'd like to focus on building a framework for behavioral profiling to utilize these behavioral profiles with a guide that organizations can apply and gain better insights to improving cybersecurity. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
From the floor? Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you for interesting talk. Was just wondering, when you were now talking about these threat actors, a random thought which you may not have thought about before, I know I didn't, is do you think there's any relationship in terms of the threat actors and insurance against ransomware, that they might be targeting people that have got insurance because they think there's a higher chance of payout or something like that? That's my first question. Maybe you can answer that before I ask my second one.
I would not be surprised that when people put up bigger defenses, there's something bigger to protect. So having ransomware insurance might well signal and be a challenge to them at the end of the day. So I do feel like it is possible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the other question is more tongue in the cheek. Do you really think 1989 and floppies is that far away? Because
on that note, no, I do not feel it's that far away, but most people I've spoken to find that, well, they think that ransomware started in the year 2000 at the earliest, thinking that original ransomware is just spread around via floppy disks. In a postal service, no, okay, I clicked on a wrong link or phishing, it's just there. There were no good practices. You see this come in the mail at your research clinic. It's like, oh cool, it's a new program that will allow me to catalog AIDS research. You just plop it in, it works, and after 90 boots, you see you just screwed up and years of research is gone. I mean, the way that you had to pay, you had to send money to a Bolivian post box. Can you imagine that in comparison to today, where it's just a few clicks? Oh, my entire PC has been affected, I need to pay them, okay, I have to send you a few Bitcoin. It's just hilarious what a giant difference it has been from where it started and what million-dollar industry it's become at the end of the day.
Wanted to ask any other questions from the floor? One at the back, that's the last question, thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the insightful presentation. So my interest, I just wanted to maybe know from you, like would you recommend, or what's maybe the advice around, let's say the company has been hit by a ransomware, maybe they don't even have a backups that could, be handful in case of obviously ransomware or stuff like that, where they could restore their data. So would you recommend them negotiating with the cyber criminals, hoping that they will, give them those encryption keys to restore their data? Or
at the end of the day, it depends on who you're dealing with. The three major ones that I talked about, they are business people. They are not run by just some shady guy in their basement. It is a businessman sitting there, and he's dealing with you. So they are trustworthy. But if this comes down to your organization and this group has anti-Western sentiment, they're not going to give you your encryption key. They're not going to give you money. They're going out to sow chaos. But if you get hit by these major guys that just want money, you can negotiate with them to try and get, that's the point of this research, to understand if you're attacked by this group, you have a chance to talk your way out of it at the end of the day. But saying that, there is a level of instability that your systems still have afterwards. So most people opt to just rebuild the entire system and tell them, you know what, keep it, unless it's very valuable and very not to be leaked data. Most people say, I can just rebuild my system for cheaper. But if you do not have backups, negotiate with them, try and get the best price. Usually they can talk it down from a full Bitcoin to a few point something, something, something. That's the issue. They usually do come back. Double and triple extortion is a terrifying aspect to this. On their pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pelser, for sharing your insights and findings on the ransomware threat actor profiling. Really, that was very insightful.
Thank you.
Right. Our next presenter, I'm pleased to announce